begin with the biggest story of the day because the majority of them, the Hindus who are living in 6 Hindu-dominated villages in Tamil Nadu's Trichy, are in a state of shock. They were rudely informed that the lands that they own for decades has now been claimed by the Waqf Board. In fact, even the priests of an aged old temple dating back to the Chola era were in for a rude shock. They were told that the temple too was standing on Waqf land.
Now, Times Now special investigation team travelled to Tamil Nadu. The hapless villagers narrated firsthand their ordeal on what exactly happened, how they had been living in the area for so many years, and how finally now the Waqf has claimed that land.
So this is coming at a time when the villagers there who have been showing documents to prove the ownership to counter the Waqf Board's claim that the land belongs to them. Now what is being said that there have been posters that have been put up by the Waqf Board across the villages claiming that the land belongs to them. There are around 7 villages that are dominated by the Hindu population that were claimed by the Waqf Board as its own.
சார் எங்களுக்கு தெரிய வந்து இப்போ கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரு 10 நாள் ஆகுது. இந்த 10 நாளில் ரெஜிஸ்டர் ஆஃபீஸ்க்கு ஒருத்தர் லேண்ட் ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ண போகிறப்ப தான் விற்க போகிறப்ப தான் இந்த விஷயமே எல்லாமே ஹோல் திருச்செந்துறையே இந்த வக்ஃப் வாரியத்துக்கு கீழே வந்திருக்கு அப்படின்றத ஒரு விஷயத்த எங்களுக்கு சொன்னாங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் நாங்கள் இதை பற்றி அதுக்கடுத்து ஆராய ஆரம்பிக்கும் போது தான் அடுத்து பக்கத்தில் உள்ள கடியாகுறிச்சி மேக்குடி பஞ்சாயத்து கடியாகுறிச்சி கிராமம் இதெல்லாம் வந்து ஃபுல்லாகவே வக்ஃப் வாரிய கமிட்டிக்கு கீழே இருக்குது, அவங்களோட சொத்து அப்படின்ற மாதிரி சொல்லியிருந்தாங்க. நாங்கள் மேற்கொண்டு அந்த ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரார்கிட்ட என்ன விஷயம், ஏன் இது மாதிரி இதுக்கான காரணம், திடீர்னு இது வந்து கிட்டத்தட்ட 2800 வருஷத்துக்கு மேலே மன்னர்களாட்சி காலத்துல இருந்து இங்க இந்துக்கள் இப்படிதான் நாங்க இருந்துட்டு இருக்கோம்.
ஆமா, ரொம்ப மனசு கஷ்டமாயிருச்சு. ஏன்னா நாங்க டாக்குமெண்ட் எல்லாமே இருக்குதுங்க சார், எங்க கிட்ட நிறைய இருக்கு. எங்க மாமியா பேர்ல இருந்து மாமனார் பேரு, மாமியா பேர், எங்க வீட்டுக்காருக்கு பேர், அதுக்கப்புறம் என் பேர்ல இருக்குங்க சார். என் பேருக்கு இப்ப இவ்வளவு தூரம் எப்படி வந்ததுன்னு எனக்கே தெரியல. இப்ப இவ்வளவு தூரம் இருந்திருந்தா எங்க பேர்ல எல்லாம் வராது இல்லைங்களா, எங்க பேருக்கெல்லாம் வந்துருச்சு. அப்படி இருந்து எப்படி சார் அது அவங்களுக்கு சொந்தமா ஆகும் அப்படிங்கறது தான் இப்ப மன குலைச்சல் ஆயிருச்சுங்க எங்களுக்கு.
இங்கே பார்த்தா அதிகப்படியாக இந்துக்கள் தான் அதிகமாக வாழ்ந்துகிட்டு இருக்கோம். இங்கே 99.9% வரலையும் இந்துக்கள் தான் வாழ்ந்துருக்கோம். அப்படி இருந்து இது வந்து வகுப்பு வாரியம் சொல்லவும் மக்கள் எல்லாம் பீதி அடைந்து போய் எல்லாம் மக்கள் வாழ்ந்துட்டு இருக்காங்க. அவங்களுக்கு வந்து இந்த கவர்மெண்ட் இதோட இந்த 2 நாளாக தான் எனக்கு தெரியும் வகுப்பு வாரியமாக மாறி இருக்குது. அந்த ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் தான் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க வகுப்பு வாரியம் அப்படின்ட்டு. இன்னும் தலைவர்கள் என்ன இது வந்து இதை பற்றி எங்ககிட்ட எந்த ஒரு இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் பண்ணல, இதை பற்றி என்ன ரிசல்ட் வந்திருக்கு.
ஆனால் மக்கள் வந்து மனநிலை பாதித்து இவங்க ரொம்ப மனசு ரொம்ப வேதனையாக, இங்கே உள்ள கிராமத்தில் மக்கள் வந்து எல்லாமே அன்றாடம் கூலி வேலை செய்து தான் பாடுபட்டு அன்றாடம் ஜீவனம் பண்ணுறாங்க. அதை வந்து திடீர் ஒரு அபகரிப்பு மாதிரியே வந்துடும்போது மனநிலை பாதித்து ரொம்ப இதை இருக்குது காலகட்டத்தில்.
Now you heard their desperate pleas and their cries that was drawing attention to the desperation. However, that has now fallen on deaf ears. The state administration led by Chief Minister Stalin is apparently silent on the Waqf Board.
So the Waqf Board chief scandalously in fact chose to laugh off the complaints against him before defiantly rubbing in the trauma by refusing to review the Waqf takeover, citing draconian Waqf powers.
So in the first phase, when we are coming to know that there is a confusion among the people, we have instructed the sub-register office to withhold temporarily till we get a full information from archive department, which may take some time. So once it comes, we will give and we will furnish all the required detail to sub-register office to stop the transactions. We are not having any kind of compromise to withdraw the thing, because government of Tamil Nadu has put with the survey activity of the authenticated surveyors these 389 acres. Fine. Most of the more number of people may be having the usage of this area,
second, sir.
and we don't know what are the numbers.
Some of these houses.
Right? One minute.
One second, sir. Please, let me ask you a pointed question.
I heard, while there is a temple in such a place, how can we call it belonging to?
All right, so let's tell you exactly what is being meant by this Waqf Board leader, because he goes on to say, as far as if the land has been given away in charity to the Waqf, then it belongs to their God. It cannot be disputed. It cannot be challenged. Let's take a look in its entirety as far as the Waqf special status the Act is concerned of 1995, and how certain provisions have been called as arbitrary. Now, the Delhi High Court will be hearing the plea challenging the Waqf Act of 1995, and the plea has sought for that some of the provisions are arbitrary and unfair, especially when it comes to land. There cannot be any dispute or challenges that can be posed. The plea says that no such laws for any other religion. When we talk about Hindu religion, the Christian religion, there are no such laws that have been put in place that can be challenged with the complete takeover of land by one particular community. The petitioner there in the case has said that centre must enact a uniform law, and especially when it comes to such kind of religious institutions, there must be monitored as far as no special provision or power should be given to one particular community. The Jamaat Ulema Hind has now moved the High Court opposing this PIL because they say that they want their side of the story also to be heard. The Jamaat wants the frivolous plea to be dismissed completely because they have been saying this is a long-standing rule, it is a law, therefore cannot be challenged under any circumstances. So this is the 1995 Act, the Waqf special status. In fact, this 1500-year-old temple is something also that the Waqf claims it now comes under them. So it belongs to the Waqf, not to the people of the Hindu population who have been living there for several decades, for several generations, because they were in a rude shock when they came to find out that the land that they have been staying there does not belong to them. So let's talk about, as far as the Waqf Board is also concerned, the board there, because this is what they have been claiming, this entire land there. What is being said, there are at least 6 to 7 villages that the Waqf Board claims that it belongs to them. They have also said that they have certain papers there to prove the documents there that this entire land that goes up to several hundred acres actually belongs to them. This actually incident came to light when one of the residents there wanted to sell off his land, went to the registrar, and they go on to say that this land does not belong to you. We need an NOC from the Waqf Board. Now, the Waqf Board leader, we just heard him. He came out to say, as far as the chief there is concerned, that there cannot be any dispute because the land belongs to them and thereafter cannot be sold.
Okay, all right. Let's also go across to Prapanch, who is joining us live. He'll be talking about what the situation is like. Remember, the villagers, in a rude shock, found out that the land that they had been living in for the last so many decades belongs to the Waqf Board. They had no inkling about it at all. They have now poured out their agony to our special investigation team. Prapanch, what's happening there currently? The Waqf Board is in no mood to bow down. Suddenly, the villagers have been robbed of their land, with the Waqf Board saying that this is our land.
Right now, as the latest development, day before yesterday, the letter which the Waqf Board had sent to the sub-registrar office has been withheld. Now, in fact, the lands can be bought and sold without NOCs from Waqf Board. We spoke to the collector. Collector has clarified that the lands would be bought. And in fact, Mr. Rajagopalan, who went to sell his land and who was asked to bring NOC, has in fact sold his land. He has sold his land. He had 1 acre and 2 cents of land which he was trying to sell. That land has been sold. He sold it yesterday, and we spoke to him. He sold it yesterday, and the opposite party, the party had bought the land, and he was in fact satisfied. He in fact also thanked the several authorities who helped him throughout the whole process. However, we could see now this problem. In fact, the collector said that because the whole village was mentioned and there was no survey numbers were given, this in fact letter was withheld. So the people in that village, Tiruchirappalli village and Kadaikurchir village and several other villages, the whole village where they had mentioned, the Waqf Board list had mentioned, those places will be withheld. So the people can buy and sell lands over there. However, there are still issues in the place where Waqf Board has mentioned the survey numbers, the measurements of land parcels. There are still people who have concerns because they do have the land documents with them to prove that that's their land. Despite having the list, the Waqf Board sending the list, the people over here claim that they do have the land documents, proper land documents, and they have said that they will be going and filing a dispute, and they will also send petitions. And if at all it is not heard, they will also be protesting, is what we are given to understand. But as of now, in terms of Tiruchendurai village, Kadaikuruchi village and other several villages where the whole villages were mentioned in the Waqf Board list, they don't have any problem right now. They don't require an NOC to sell or buy the land.
All right, that's another fact that Prapanch is pointing out to that, because the villagers there apparently had gone ahead to protest as well. Because Prapanch, please do stay on with us. There are multiple reasons that the Jamiat thinks that the Waqf Board should retain this scandalous exclusive privilege that undermines the principles of natural justice. The lawyers from the Hindu side are outraged and they are demanding scrapping of the Waqf Act of 1995.